All right, guys, that was a very quick adjustment. So hopefully this, now that I've fixed what I'm doing and made a slight move, you'll be able to see what I'm painting, because I'm painting a little bit further in front of myself, away from where the actual camera was unintentionally. So I'm just getting some Black Templar and placing it on the backpacks and just tidying up the spot between where it's. I've got the. I should get it all out so I can remember the names or write them down so I can actually talk about it while I'm painting. But as you can see, I'm just making some adjustments here. Fixing the backpacks. Hopefully this is turning out exactly how I want it to, and I'm doing it in a spot where you guys can see me doing it. I'm just going to flip this guy upside down because there's a couple of little spots where I need to get the black on just to try and tidy it up, which I have done. And I'm going to go through, and I've been doing toes and the tail spike, just really adding some black to this model to try and break up that tealy green color and give us a little bit more of something to work with, and that will help in terms of making the model look a little more finished. But so far, as you can see, the black on the gun. I will panel line these guns, which again, I think I need to move the camera slightly. I will panel line these guns to help with just getting some breakup of color around the actual model itself. As you can see there, I'm just carefully getting this black into spots where I was a little bit worried about crossing the barrier between the two different colors there. And in a second, hopefully you'll see me paint the back half of these rear pincers. Flip that around. We're just getting in. And so then we'll just work on these rear, like I said, the pincer here on the back of, on the butt of the model, which hopefully is not being blocked out or blurred out too much by, via light. You can all clearly see. I'm just moving it around and getting all of the Black Templar on there. And again, my bases are going to be snow, so it's going to be a little bit of hit and miss texture entertainment for playing around with a variety of colours, really, to get a mixture of something on the base to make it touch more interesting, because I like the bases to have some kind of character. As I've done with a few of the others, I do have a few things up my sleeve that I might attempt. But as you can see, when we get in, let's flick over. I'm probably going to have to adjust the lighting. And again, this is very much trial and error for these models. So you can see I've got two done. I've done a little bit on, I'll bring it in to view on the broadside, or the crisis suit here, just touching up a few places where it's not, a small brush is much easier than a large brush to get into places. I'm just going to touch up a few spots because these guys are getting very close to being able to, go through their next stage of painting. I've got one that, as you can see, I've painted the entire model. Well, not painted the entire. I've done all the dry brushing and have now worked onto, like, obviously painting all the black on the required components, and then there'll be some silver to be done in a few places, basically like the others. Silver on there and on there, and some white in the sections just here before we go in with some blue. And then obviously the red lens to change the colour. And here we go, we've got, this one is cleaned up and complete. Legs are just here. They need a slight bit of cleanup because of a smaller brush is a little bit easier to do some of the final. They've had a second black coat put on them, but the small brush is sometimes a little easier to get this final bits of black coating on to help out. But let's work our way around. And the goal really tonight or today for this lot of videos, because I'm pretty much in what I'm going to call section 22. This is video bunch 22, and the goal is to have, hopefully, if we get lucky, which I doubt it right now, to get these. 1 second, I'm just concentrating so I don't make any mistakes. 5 vespid painted, and once that's done, really then, and the crisis suits him. Well, this is the first one, but I have 3 more crisis. So just got to do 2 layers of dry brushing on the other 2 before we can move into the black painting sections of those crisis suits, and then get those done, and then we're much closer to our next milestone, which for me, I'm umming and ahhing about adding another 5 of the vespid in, mainly because of the role they play in terms of what you can do with them. Vespid Stingwing, as I've said in previous video, have the uppy downy ability. It's what we call it, the uppy downy ability. The ability to go in and out of strategic reserve whenever required. And that just gives us, gives you, the player, the ability to, slightly off, aren't they? So I'm going to have to move it again to try and get it more square on where I want it. It's very much trial and error right now. But as you can see, there's a little bit done there, just going with what I'm doing. And hopefully, soon we're going to have everything else sorted out. But we'll get these things done, get 3 crisis suits completed. That'll give me a total of 12 with, 2 commanders completed and the far sight. So the far sight will be the leader for these crisis suits for the fire knife. That might be fire knife. Anyway, for those 3 particular crisis suits, and then I'll have another commander I will have to build eventually. I really need to get into it, and a couple other bits and pieces. Just realizing I didn't dry brush some silver on a particular piece of crisis suit. As you can see, no silver. And I've been trying to do some stuff with them, made it look like water. This definitely looks much better now. It's got the water on it. Makes them look like they're shiny. But I've got a dry brush piece there. Forgot about that. But yeah, that's the next section. These guys will be dry brushed, these bits, these black bits. Now they're all done. And then, as I said, it's a matter of being able to paint a couple of lights, and glue a fella together, as you can see. Yep. Glue a fella together, because sometimes you just don't get things in the right spot. And that'll be the end of that particular crisis suit and that batch. And when that's done, that'll at least save me a fair bit of time in terms of getting me close to that next marker of army requirement. Looking for 2,000. Really, that's that 2,000 points, and we're down to about 7 weeks approximately. So over the next 7 weeks, there'll be army finished off, and then of course once that's done, we will have games as well, and there'll be photos. And I don't think this new rig is going to be big enough for me to attach to a game table. I'm definitely hoping to get one down the track, which will allow for filming, so that I can film the games and then obviously talk them through with you guys once they're done. So that's the plan. That's the goal for the next little while. But as I said, I'll pull the pin on this one here, and that together, those two videos will get me to the marker that I'm kind of trying to follow in terms of like time that I'm talking, I should say, yammering. Time that I'm yammering at you, and we'll just quickly, as you can see, there's a hair in there somehow. You can test it on your hand. Lovely. And bring this guy back in. And the point is to, without doing too much damage, done. Fix that problem. But also, that means that I can now go into this and let's hit the entire gun with the dry brush here. Lovely, all the way around. That's done. These legs are the next to be completed. And there we go, get the dry brushing in. I tend to work one leg at a time. And there we go, Now, and what we'll do for this last little, obviously as I said, the last little bit is just painting this silver. I don't think there's possibly both of the little joins here. I'll paint those little dots silver. And that will be about all. What happened there? There's something there that's gunked on. But yeah, that's dry brushing done as well on those bits. And that's what it is. We will go from there. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of the sting wings in terms of painting and adding a few more colours. I'm not really happy with what I've done, but there we go. Video technically 22.2. It'll be 22 A part 1 and part 2 filmed. Just getting used to the new setup, so yeah, I'll play around with that and see how we go. But as far as I'm concerned, I like it. A little bit easier, just figuring out heights and whatnot. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, guys.